I'm sorry here, but I'm posting this story about a week late because I was on vacation for 4 days. So, and this story came up during the week that I went on vacation. So I'm about 6 days late in posting this article. Close your eyes and imagine this coming in 2023. Speaker of the House Donald J. Trump. We don't want that, but that's what he's trying to run for. If you're like most Americans, the thought of Trump, the man who incited an act of domestic terrorism, as the FBI Director Christopher Wray has defined the January 6th attack on the Capitol, as Speaker is both appalling and alarming. And yet it appears that some Trump backers are on board, or at least telling Trump's sycophants that if the GOP wins the House back in the 2022 midterm election, they may choose Trump as Speaker, presumably in the hope that it will encase the turnout of their base. The Speaker doesn't have to be a member of Congress, and so this scenario is possible. Basically, the reason why he wants to become Speaker is because if something happens to the President, then the Vice President takes over, and if something happens to the Vice President, then the next in line would be the Speaker of the House. So it would put him back in President again if something happened to the other two. That's what he's trying to do. First, this confirms how dangerously out of touch some in the Trump world are if they think it's a winning strategy to elevate a man who who incited an attack on that very chamber to become its leader. And second, I can't think of any other development that could inspire the record number of voters who opposed Trump in 2020 to come out again in 2022 to vote Democrat or whatever and prevent Trump from becoming Speaker, a position that would put him third in line to be president according to the rules of presidential succession. But Trump as a Speaker can't be dismissed as simply Washington Beltway talk. The idea was first raised by Trump's former campaign manager Steve Bannon in late February, but Trump gave the idea oxygen himself last week on conservative radio when he told the host that the idea was very interesting to him. And from there, the idea has seen more traction in Trump world. On Thursday, Trump sycophant Matt Schlapp, the chair of a prominent conservative news organization, had told the pro-Trump media outlet Newsmax, which is a fake news site, that there's a lot of buzz out there that Donald Trump would eventually become someone that they crown as Speaker of the House if the Republicans can get the majority back. Schlapp, whose wife Mercedes worked in the Trump administration and on Trump's 2020 campaign, added, "It's an interesting conversation about Trump inserting himself in the fight for the Republicans to get back the majority." Then on Friday, the House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy was on Faux News, where anchor Brian Kilmeade, a fucking dick, noted that there was some talk out there about Trump being appointed Speaker if the GOP won the House back in 2022. And evidently, at Mar-a-Lago, he's considering it. Kilmeade then asked McCarthy, would you be for the former squatter Trump being Speaker? McCarthy responded, I've talked to the squatter many times, and he told me he wants to be Speaker. McCarthy added, but I think he should be squatter again. No, I do not want him a squatter again in that White House ever again. After McCarthy's words sparked media headlines, his press spokesperson, not McCarthy himself, told a reporter that McCarthy misspoke and that he meant to say it was Trump. It was him that Trump wants to be Speaker. So far, sorry, just move that right there for a minute. So far, Trump has not said whether he would serve as Speaker if asked, but he might find it appalling. He might find the deal appealing. Of being the chosen one if the Republicans win the House next year, which hopefully not. All without having to face the possibility of another humiliating defeat because his name wouldn't actually be on the ballot. And it is true that the position of House Speaker doesn't have anything resembling the power of the presidency or presidency, especially if the Democrats retain control of the Senate. But as Speaker, Trump would again attract the media attention that he so desperately wants to crave. He could also undermine the Biden administration's agenda by taking up time leading nonstop baseless impeachment inquiries into both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, something a GOP-controlled House might be only too happy to support. And there are many issues that Democrats in 2022 want to run on, and first and foremost, Biden's remarkable handling of the COVID-19 crisis, which even a Faux News poll in late May showed that he had a 64% approval rating. But I can't think of a greater motivator for Democrats than turning the 2022 election into a referendum on Trump's return to national office. As a reminder, by the time Trump left office in January, he had the lowest approval rating of any squatter since scientific polling began. He was he had a 34% approval rating with a 61% disapproval. Plus a Quinnipiac poll that was released after the January 6th attack on the Capitol found that 59% of Americans believe Trump should not be allowed to hold office ever again, and I'm with that one. The 2022 Democratic campaign ads that slammed Trump as a possible speaker write themselves. For example, a commercial with clips of Trump speaking at the January 6th Klan rally before the attack. He told the audience, "We are stuck with a squatter who lost the election by a lot. Obviously, you were the squatter who lost by a lot, so we're not stuck with you, so that's a good thing. We're just not going to let that happen." And Trump bellowing, "The Democrats are trying to steal the White House." They didn't steal the White House. And then we hear Trump tell the agitated audience, "We're going to walk down to the Capitol," which he did the opposite of. He didn't follow them. Followed by the clips of Trump sycophants storming the Capitol. They assaulted police officers, chanting "Hang Mike Pence," and declaring during the attack that our squatter wants us here. The ad could conclude with images of Trump sycophants storming the Capitol, as we hear. Now the Republican Party wants Trump as Speaker of the very chamber that he cited his sycophants to attack. Trump rolls a new strategy of floating Trump as a Speaker of the House is not only an insult to a republic given Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection, it is exactly what the Democrats need to animate the voters who reject Trumpism to come out to the polls. Now, if the GOP goes this route, it will make the 2022 election a referendum on American democracy, and I'm confident more Americans will choose our democracy over Trumpism. But yeah.